Broussard, let's talk some Bucks Heat. Game 2, another crazy ending. Let's play it out. Bucks down 3, 8 seconds to play. Chris Middleton's 3 doesn't go, but he's fouled by Goran Dragic, and he would make all 3 free throws. So now we're tied up. 4 seconds to play. Jimmy Butler with a chance to win, play hero. He goes up. That doesn't come down. But wait, Giannis fouls Jimmy on the shot. Butler heads to the free throw line with a chance to win. He only needed to make 1. He does hit both. And the Miami Heat take a 2-0 lead over the top-seeded Milwaukee Bucks. Broussard, Bucks basically played catch-up in this game all game long. They did have a chance at the end, but man, they now find themselves down 0-2 to Miami. Is it time to panic if you're Milwaukee?
And let me say this first. Those were 2 absolutely horrible calls. Absolutely horrible.
Correct.
Giannis touched Jimmy on the chest a little bit after the shot, but there's no way you call that at the end of the game. But you know what? I can't even feel sorry for the Bucks because the call before it was worse. So the game shouldn't have even been tied.
Evened out.
Absolutely perfect defense from Goran Dragic. So I don't feel sorry for the Bucks one bit. But you don't panic because then you're really done. And we've seen teams come back from 0-2. We saw it last year, Toronto doing it against this Milwaukee Bucks team. We just saw Denver rally from down 3-1.
Yep.
So it's possible, but I got to be honest, the Bucks, I think, are done. This is a bad matchup. They've now been beaten 4 out of 5 times this season against Miami. The Heat have their number, not only physically, but I think mentally, because where is this Bucks team at mentally? Let's face it, they're not full of a bunch of grizzled veterans with championship pedigree. None of these guys has won anything, any type of title, okay? And your leader, Giannis, is a young kid who's 25 years old and still learning his way physically and mentally. So I don't think they're in a good space mentally. They probably are a bit defeated. So they are in a lot of trouble against this Miami Heat team.
Listen, everything you said about the calls is correct. Both of them were horrifying. Mark Davis should be put in timeout over the next 72 hours by Adam Silver and think about what he's done. But the right team won. And Brandon has talked a lot about going into this series that he thinks Miami's the worst possible matchup in the East for the Bucks. And thus far, that is potentially proving true. But right now, the small business owners of the greater Milwaukee area need to band together in the next 36 hours and file a class action lawsuit against Mike Budenholzer. Because if the Bucks lose this series, Giannis is leaving. And all those bars and restaurants and clubs, once those things open back up, they all just, their traffic and value plummets. And if Coach Bud loses this series playing Giannis 35 minutes in big games, I know we just fired a coach who won Coach of the Year in Dwayne Casey. We might have to do that again because this is an outrage. Listen, I'm sorry, but
it's not about them, Nick.
Coach is there
Nick,
for.
it's not. Nick, no one's surprised.
Hold on, Brandon.
Come on,
Brandon,
no one's surprised that the Heat. No one's surprised that the Heat are in this position. I called it before the series even started. When you look at last night, this is more about the Heat than it is about them. The Heat played terrible. It's not about the last couple seconds in those calls. The last 4 or 5 minutes, Chris, reminded me of like YMCA basketball, 15 and under. This was so sloppy. Missed free throws, breakdowns in defense. They fouled a 3-point shooter. Jimmy Butler throws the ball away. The game shouldn't even be close. If I'm Coach Spo, Nick, I am going into this locker room. I'm putting together 7 to 10 clips, and I'm showing these guys the missed opportunities. They have the opportunity to dominate this team. They have an answer for Giannis, and they have at least 5, 6 guys that can go for 20 on any given night. So, while I don't know where you stand here, but no one should be surprised that the Heat is taking control the way they are.
That's fine. I'm not saying that the issue is that Milwaukee's down 2-0. That's obviously part of the issue. But it's the way it's happened. You play your superstars 40-plus minutes in big playoff games, especially if they're 25 years old aliens that are seemingly indefatigable over the course of their career. Like, you got it. You can't die with some bullets in the chamber. This Bucks team without Giannis unlocks everything. He unlocks their defense. He unlocks their three-point shooting. He unlocks Chris Middleton. And you want to play him 31 minutes a night during the regular season because you're blowing everyone out? Who cares?
That's
but
on
there is
Giannis.
no precedent.
That's on Giannis. Giannis needs to go to Bud
so
and tell Bud he wants to play more.
But Broussard, Giannis's quotes, he was asked, why aren't you guarding Jimmy Butler? He said, I do what coach tells me. After the game, he was asked about them making adjustments. He said, no, we just need to do what we do because that's what Bud's philosophy is. Should I play more minutes? He said, oh, I'd love to play the whole game. I do what coach says. This isn't, who did Bud learn from, Broussard? Greg Popovich. Tim Duncan's first 6 years in the league, he played 42 minutes a game in the playoffs. Tim Duncan, when he was 39 years old, played 36 minutes a game in the playoffs. Like, maybe to Brandon's point, Broussard, that they lose either way. But you can't lose a close playoff game with Giannis playing 36 minutes. You just can't. It's just indefensible, Chris.
That's on Giannis.
Well, first of all, Nick, watch out for the sub-tweets from Stan Van Gundy. They're certainly coming your way on Budenholzer.
I know.
However, you are right on the money. You're right on the money. I'm sorry. I've got to go down with my best guys. He's the MVP of the league, and rightfully so, no matter what happens in this series. For him to be playing 35 minutes is absolutely ludicrous. Now, they've got a problem. Late games, you see it, Nick. If you turned on a Bucks game with 6 minutes left to play and you didn't know who the star was, you didn't know Giannis was this great player, you would think he was just another guy. They can't go. They have no go-to guy. I love ball movement, especially at the end of games, but I love it when I've got 4 or 5 guys that can create their own shot and are just that good that we can go to any of them. I don't love it because my number one guy doesn't have a go-to move or a go-to shot other than that straight line drive that Miami has been able to cut off. They are in trouble because in close games, they can't go to their best player because all he can do is that straight line drive.
Well, he's going to be a two-time MVP. The fact that he still has holes in his game is really weird, and I feel bad for LeBron sitting here and having to listen to all these MVP talk and be like, hold on, the MVP can't close a game? But, Nick, to your point, I went back and tried to find out the last time Giannis played 40 minutes. Guess when it was? The elimination game in Toronto last year. So Bud is not playing this guy until it's like do or die, and then surprise, surprise, and it's die time.
And even that game, Wilds, even that game, it was like I looked at it before the show. It was like 40 minutes, 36 seconds. Guess what? He can play 47.
Yeah.
He can play 47 minutes. Look,
you guys know
LeBron's
basketball.
First year in the playoffs,
you guys know basketball.
Go ahead.
You guys know basketball. You seen LeBron James, Chris Paul, Westbrook check themselves in. You saw Kobe tell guys and Michael Jordan tell his coaches, fair. I'm playing. This is more on Giannis than it is the coach. The coach knows his player. He knows his player is tired or he knows his player is not capable. Man, if I'm Giannis right now, I'm stepping up in this moment saying, I'm not coming out the game. So, Chris, I don't know how you feel about it, but to me, this is more on him than it is Bud.
I just think, Chris, to your point about his age, he is 25, and he does feel a little meeker than most NBA superstars in his quotes. And so I don't know if that's his personality. It's a fair critique, Brandon, that in this scenario he could trump it, but he shouldn't be in this spot. And I don't know if the Bucks win, even if Giannis is playing 42 minutes. But they have a better chance. And Broussard, to your point, that he has these holes in his game at the end of games, which is why you play him massive minutes early.